In the last episode, we returned to a place with a horrible monster that had an immortal body. After a while of searching, Bai was able to find out that rain can't defeat this monster and went to another place to find a way to defeat it. It turned out that the monster was a boy who got his organs from another guy who had an immortal body, which was taken advantage of by the bastard doctor who sold his organs. The boy started to turn into a monster, even though he had a life that many could envy. At the time, the guy who had a horrible life continued to love people and do everything for their good. After Bai learned this story, he opened a strange box that contained the same kind boy, and he began to feel sorry for him. And here, you guys, under the last part, we haven't collected 500 likes, which makes me very upset. I hope this time we will be able to collect 200 likes, because I'm trying very hard, and I hope you like my efforts. I can't wait any longer. Let's go. Bai felt sorry for the boy, and said that he was sure that since the boy hadn't become a fallen man, he still hoped to be loved. He cheered the boy up and said that the monster was not his other side. At that time, the team started to call the boss to them. The commander said that they had no time left. At that time, the monster said that the transition to the next stage was complete, and they only needed to wait for Bai's choice. The monster was very eager to see people kill each other. At that time, the hero said that the boy had been sleeping in the tower all the time. Cain had deceived not only him but also the monster. Now the monster boy would never be able to return to the tower. Bai offered to go with him and stop this terrible monster, then leave this terrible place. The boy asked how the hero knew all this. At that time, Bai said that the boy could trust him completely. He promised the boy to be able to walk around and be free. Bai promised that the boy's life would change from today. The boy was very worried that Bai did not exist and was afraid that he would disappear as soon as they left the place. The boy was very worried that Bai would leave him like the others, but he promised to take the boy back as soon as he stopped the monster. The boy explained that the monster hadn't listened to him for a long time. Bai realized that it was Cain's influence, manipulating the children so that they couldn't understand each other. Bai told the boy to tell the monster one thing, and then told him to follow him. As they left the room, the boy's eyes blinked in the bright light. Suddenly, the team came to Bai Wu and started asking him if he had found out anything. At that time, the protagonist noticed an enemy who used telekinesis to become invisible. Bai understood that everything around him was a monster's body. He couldn't understand who the monster was fighting. After all, there were weaknesses in the first and second stages. The monster's pathology seemed like an eternal wound. Bai Gun understood how the Fallen One was able to transform into a huge area and kill all the level 7 prey, but he didn't understand what a level 9 mutated Hong Yin was like. When the commander asked about the child, Bai replied that there was no time to explain it now. Bai used his tool to climb up the tree with the boy. Bai ordered the others to follow him, as it was not safe to stay on the ground. The boys decided to follow the main character. The team asked Bai where they were going, and he said they were heading west, where there was a boat that could take them away. The guys were moving at high speed towards the boat, when suddenly, the bald guy yelled at his ally to be careful and grabbed his hand. Looking down, the guy saw that acid rain was starting to ooze out of the ground. Bai told the guys to be careful and wished that they wouldn't fall, because if they did, all the hero's work would be wasted. As the team fled, the commander thought that Bai must know something about the treasure the rich man had ordered, so he decided to keep an eye on the hero. The man remembered that 2 days ago, he had been visited by an incredibly rich man who had offered him a huge sum of money to get some treasure from this place. The rich man died that night, and the man took the gold slides and decided to look for the treasure himself to sell. The man asked the hero why this was happening, but Bai seemed to ignore the man's questions. A guy from the team asked what kind of bag was on Bai's shoulders, but it disappeared after a moment. The guys were shocked by this. They assumed that the hero had spatial powers. The system laughed at them because the hero's bag was actually a jingling bag that could move inanimate objects up to 20 kilograms. Bai was upset because he wanted his rice cooker to be a jingling bag. Bai wondered if the talents of 777 and 666 would merge, and was asked if they would drown as the acid level increased. Bai explained that they were in the stomach of the monster, and promised to answer all questions as soon as they left the tower. The commander was shocked by this information, and the others were afraid to imagine how huge the monster was if its stomach was so huge. The boys went to Bai because otherwise they would die, and the hero decided to investigate the connection between the boy and the monster. The boy called out to Dundler, and he seemed to respond, causing a pillar of acid to rise from one spot. The commander miraculously managed to grab onto a tree and escape death. The man was very angry because this liquid was very unpredictable. Bai seemed to notice something, and then he called the other guys over to him and asked for an umbrella. It started to rain, and the hero used the umbrella to cover everyone else. This downpour was too strong, much stronger than before. They couldn't take a step in this downpour, and Bai realized that the acid would dissolve them in about 10 minutes. The boy started to writhe in pain. Bai told him not to be afraid and to tell the monster what he thought. The monster was also in pain. The teacher had talked to the monster earlier and warned him that an investigator was coming to the place. The monster asked about his other self, and Cain said with a grin on his face that if everything went according to his plan, the other boy would become a monster. Cain promised the monster that he would stay with the boy forever and that they would both be fallen. The boy started hitting the ground, screaming that his friend never wanted people to die, and the white-haired man felt very sorry for his friend. One of the team members suggested that they would be finished soon. A man begged for a disc, but Bai asked him to stay calm. Bai looked at the boy and assumed that it would be over soon. The hero thought that it was time for the man to pay for his terrible deeds, but Qinlin was just a toy in the man's hands. At that time, in the monster's mind, the evil boy was apologizing for what he had done. He was poking and prodding because no one loved him. Prometheus came from behind and told the monster that it was okay. He said there were definitely people in the world who could love it. Bai assumed that the child had probably been maimed during the operation because he didn't feel any hate. Prometheus told him about Bai and that he was leaving with him, and Dundler threw a tantrum because he didn't want the boy to leave. Prometheus pushed the boy away and begged him not to go. The commander yelled at the hero that they would soon be finished, but his thread was interrupted by the boy, who begged the monster to let him pass. The boy said he didn't want to live in a hospital anymore, he wanted to live like a human. After these words, it became clear that the boys were shocked by this turn of events, but Bai was happy because the outcome was clear to him. The guys were still reeling from the fact that the rain had stopped, but what surprised them even more was that the acid levels were starting to drop. Baldy couldn't understand how one sentence from the kid could stop everything. He started to speculate. He couldn't understand where Bai was getting his information from. The team member asked if they were saved, but Bai upset the guys by saying that it wasn't the end. The trees started to grow a lot. Everything around them started to shake. The guys were stunned when a tree came to life in front of them. Bai said hello to the monster, and the monster stared intently in their direction. The monster asked why the hero didn't kill the other three and just leave with Prometheus. Bai said that the boy was the kindest, while the people behind him were horrible bastards, while Cain wanted the hero to choose, but he got lazy about it. The monster asked why they didn't deserve to die, and the hero just said it wasn't up to them. Bai said that wherever he was, he didn't like to complicate things, but the monster didn't understand that because it would be easier to just kill people. Bai said that a real lazy person would choose the justice system, which had been perfected over thousands of years. He said they should get rid of such ideas, and the monster looked at Bai and remembered his teacher. Bai reminded the monster that his teacher was a liar and his words could not be trusted, and Dundler said that if Bai didn't keep his promise, he would eat him. Bai reassured the monster, promising to show him that not all humans are evil. The monster said that Bai was special, too special, and warned that the teacher would definitely come for him. Bai was upset because he expected to get some information about Cain. The monster said he wouldn't tell because Bai would take away his best friend, to which he got the answer that they take away loved ones and shared friends. Bai continued to talk to the monster, which made him angry, and the monster told him to get lost and disappeared. Bai thought about the fact that he had already achieved something, while the others were happy that they had survived and everything was over. Bai gave the boy a teleportation disc and explained how to use it. This behavior started to annoy the rest of the guys. Bai said that he and the boy would bring help and ordered them to wait at this place. The boys tried to stop Bai, but the branches grabbed them. Bai finally said that he was not like the man, so not to worry, he would keep his word. The man was very upset that Bai knew everything. He realized that the treasure didn't exist, and it was all someone's plan, and the rich man himself definitely wouldn't die. The boy used the teleportation wheel, the system ran a report, the hero did well, and also got an ally that the system rated as SSR. Bai realized that after training, the boy would definitely become incredibly useful. Bai thought about the fact that he hadn't increased his strength much and wondered how he could make it grow faster. Bai also noticed the information about the pieces of the Doomsday Puzzle, and he was sure that the other pieces were in worse areas. Bai had an incredible amount of questions, but he was sure that he was not allowed to follow Kane's plans. The boy said goodbye to his friend and thanked the monster for taking care of him. The friend said that if the boy was hurt, he could come back at any time. But Prometheus said it would be okay. He said that Bai would come back for these people. The monster joked about planning to eat these guys, which made the boy a little angry. He said goodbye to his fallen friend again, his face starting to show a smile. The system asked Bai what he was going to do with the boy. He decided to let the boy join the intelligence corps, but then he would have to come up with another name. At that time, inside the tower, the first episode of the show was coming to an end, and after the end was announced, people started shouting that they wanted to know when the second episode would be. On the second floor of the tall tower, the Scout Corps division, the main character stood and listened to the short man talk about how the picture was disgusting, but he also said that he was good at memorizing. Bai said that he would like the boy to join their Scout Corps. The captain immediately asked what the reasons were. The boy listened attentively behind Bai's back, but the hero calmed him down and asked him to wait a bit. Bai went over to the captain, took a piece of paper and a pen, and started to write something. He briefly wrote where he had found the boy and what abilities he had. The commander started to look at it carefully, and Bai finished writing all the information. The commander read the paper carefully, and then lit a match so that this information would not be left behind. He asked the hero to keep the information secret. The system praised the hero for providing the information perfectly, just as it should be. When asked why Bai had told him about the boy's abilities, he recalled that as soon as they arrived at the tower, the system had rejoiced for the boy, who would finally be able to meet people. The system also told him that the boy also had a secret that the people on the 6th floor were interested in. Bai realized that when he first met Shorty and Yin Shuang, they had the same message. Their talents were up to 100. Bai assumed that the higher floors were looking for people with rare talents. Bai assumed that they wanted to get rid of such people, so Bai told the commander about the boy's ability to hide it from the public. Bai asked if the runt had heard of Kane, who looked more like a member of a sect, but the runt had never heard of this man, so Bai could only speculate without an answer as to who Kane really was. For some reason, the hero was reminded of Magneto. He assumed that Kane fought for the rights of the fallen, that's why they respected him so much. He assumed that Kane wanted to destroy the tower. Bai wanted to avoid Kane for a while. At that time, the little man asked the boy's name. He introduced himself as Prometheus. The commander said that the name was too long and needed to be changed. The boy was upset because he liked the name. The commander explained that he could use the old name in the dress-up games, but for the Corps, he needed a new name. The new name for the boy was Bai Xiaoyu. The system laughed and said that the little boy had a talent for making up names, even joking that the next one would be named Bai Xiaofeng. The commander had made up his mind. He said that the boy couldn't accept the mission from anyone else, and he understood. The commander also asked that the identity of the hero not be revealed. Bai realized that sooner or later, people would find out that the character he had created was Constantine and the intelligence corps at the same time. Bai left the boy to the captain and warned that Kane would most likely find out. The boy said that the little uncle was very strong and that he was safe around him. Bai was incredibly happy because if Kane found out about the boy, he would think that the little man was at the scene of the accident. The captain said he would help Bai, but they could only hope that the girl could be trusted. Bai asked if the captain had any further instructions. The small man told Bai to take an apprentice and said that they had attracted the attention of the higher levels with their report. That was good, but the men of the straitjacket weren't happy about it. Bai wondered what they were unhappy about, and the short man told them about the case on the 3rd floor, and because of their success, 4 people from their corps would be sent to the case. They would participate in the investigation with the best team. Bai realized that they had been looked down upon before, but if they succeeded, the reputation of the Pacification Corps would go down. Shorty said that they had a lot of talented people. Even though the case was half solved, no one would give them information. The commander talked about how if they failed, it would all be for nothing. Bai asked if he would have a chance to go to the 3rd floor, and he did, but there were 2 days left of Bai's leave, after which they would go to the 3rd floor. Bai was very happy to have a chance to get out of the tower one more time, and then he said goodbye, and the boy said goodbye. The doors slammed shut, but opened again. Bai came back. He told about the 3 people left behind in the jungle, and the little man could only hold his head in his hands. Thank you all for watching this video. I'm glad there are people who watched my video to the end. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will keep trying to make good videos. Good luck and all the best. See you next time.